A week from today, this program is going to change. I'm no longer going to be debating the things that we already know are true. We have seen officials in and around this White House, in their own words, and most times on video, routinely praising radical leftist and communist dictators and the wonders of socialism in spreading the wealth. Their own words, and more importantly, their actions, have convinced you that a fundamental transformation of this country is underway. But when we confront, when we give you the facts, the response is always the same. Either silence, they won't respond, they won't call, but what they will do is they will smear or attack. It's because that's all they can do. Why? Because we're telling the truth. I couldn't take it anymore. We've been preparing this program, this series of programs, the next 5 programs, for about a month and a half. And while I was on vacation last week, some liberal blogs named me the Misinformer of the Year. But what I loved about it was they didn't back it up with any facts. I saw another article in the Washington Post that did the same thing. I'm a little sick of the smears. I really am. It's time to put up some facts or shut up. Well, tonight, I'm going to put up the facts one more time. The facts for the next 5 shows. And then we're moving on. I'm going to show you what I have said in my own words with the videotape, what they said in response, and now, because we have the luxury of time, the truth as it stands because of their actions. Because really all that is important is the truth. Not one side or the other, just the truth. I begged for somebody in the White House to pick up the phone and call this line. Every night I sit here, we even put a phone in to the White House. We have a phone that is a dedicated line right to the White House. I've got a phone. Hey, call me. Sure love the White House to call, but I doubt they will. I asked them, call me, so the White House can call it anytime. You can call me anytime. Call our hotline. This is the hotline for the White House, in case we get anything wrong. The phone could ring at any time. Will the White House call the red phone today? Anita, call me. White House is the only one that has this number. The phone never rings. Why? A lie is easy to disprove, especially with the luxury of time, as the White House will find out beginning tonight. But if I were lying, let me tell you something, I'd be off the air. This is the 2nd year now of this show, and it is an opinion-based show, but it is based on fact. I want you to know I'm not dreaming this stuff up over McGriddles. I'm dreaming of more McGriddles. I ain't thinking about this stuff. Last year alone, this program put in over 50,000 man-hours for a 1-hour show that airs once a day. Over 2,000 additional hours and thousands of requests to the Fox News Brain Room. We have a whole team of researchers. This is just the research that they did for this show last year. Just those people. We poured through the 1,000-page bills. We went through everything. These books are just the books that are behind my desk in my office. These are the books that I read last year, and they're not the only books. I just got back from vacation where I took a suitcase full of books. We used sources. We have the sources in the monitor back here. We used all of these sources. We talked to professors, attorneys, experts. Millions of watchdogs contribute to this program every day. We're well researched. They don't call because we're well researched and we have the truth on our side. Let me give you this one line from Thomas Jefferson. This is what Thomas Jefferson said. Truth can stand by itself. Truth is great and will prevail if left to herself. She's the proper and sufficient antagonist to error and has nothing to fear from the conflict unless by human interposition, disarmed of her natural weapons, free argument, debate, errors ceasing to be dangerous when it is permitted to freely contradict them. In other words, the truth shall set you free. Well, come on, free men. Tonight, we close the case. Well, hello, America. It's good to be back. I will tell you that jumped out at me from Thomas Jefferson a while back. The truth is sufficient to herself if free argument and debate are allowed. Well, if that's true, and I believe that to be true, why are we constantly being told the debate is over? What do people who are in power have to fear of further debate? If I'm not telling the truth, then why not just call me? That's all you have to do. Call. Why is it that you attack this program, this network, and anyone, the Tea Party goers, anyone who stands in your way, Washington? Why attack? You see, lies are so easily stopped. Lies that are broadcast nightly to an entire nation are easily stopped. They're called laws. Or here's an idea, standards. Even if you think I'm wildly irresponsible, you have to know that News Corp is not stupid. It's a company worth billions of dollars. Do you really think this corporation would risk everything on an irresponsible, crazy guy? That doesn't make sense. And yet the phone still doesn't ring. Truth. Well, we're not going to play this game any longer. While we continue to argue the facts, well, they just continue to move the ball further down the field. They don't care. Well, I'm not going to continue to make the case. I've made the case. I've done the homework. You know in your gut what is true, and if you don't, why are you watching? Why are you watching? You see, they're doing it on every front. They've done it with health care, exactly the way this program told you they would. Then the Democratic senators who jammed this down our throats, they have the nerve to make statements that they've done the work for the American people. We didn't want their bill. Most people in America are happy with the health care that they have. So while claiming that they only had an elite few that had health care, the fact is that it was the precious few that they were working for. So the pattern has been, and let me show you, this is something that we're going to be using all during the week. It's an interesting thing that they do. First they give you, this is the lovely Marnie. Hi, Marnie. First they give you the facts, then they give you, what is this one? Then they give you a claim. I give you the fact. Here's what we say. Then they give you a claim. And then, because of their actions, or because of the luxury of time, you can see how it plays out, the truth appears. So you can see. All this week, we're going to close the case on all those facts that we laid out last year. Misinformer of the Year? Really? Well, I noticed that you guys didn't have any facts. We do. And it's pretty easy to show you the truth. In fact, let's start with Mark Lloyd. This is disturbing. This man's name is Mark Lloyd. He actually lamented on the fact that non-state-run radio stations prevented the incredible revolution of Hugo Chavez in Venezuela.
In Venezuela, Hugo Chavez really had an incredible revolution, democratic revolution.
It's not like he wanted to regulate who's allowed to have any kind of power, right?
We have really, truly good white people in important positions. And the fact of the matter is that there are a limited number of those positions, and unless we are conscious of the need to have more people of color, gays, other people in those positions, we will not change the problem. We're in a position where you have to say who is going to step down so someone else can have power.
That's pretty incredible. You got that? An incredible democratic revolution in Venezuela. And who's going to step down? We have to ask, who's going to step down? Well, when I pointed these things out, the left went on attack. I could go on for an hour with their hysterical rantings, but let me give you just one. Just in the interest of time, from Mark Lloyd himself, who claimed to simply be a victim of a right-wing smear campaign, not to mention exaggerations and distortions on his First Amendment remarks. Well, now granted, we did have to get back into that time machine with Mr. Peabody and go all the way back to the book Lloyd wrote in 2006. to find out what he wrote about freedom of speech. And frankly, I'm not even sure America was a country in 2006, but here is what he said. Quote, "It should be clear by now that my focus here is not freedom of speech or the press. This freedom is all too often an exaggeration. At the very least, blind references to freedom of speech or the press serve as a distraction from the critical examination of other communication policies. The purpose of free speech is warped to protect global corporations and block rules that would promote democratic governance." Democratic governance. It is interesting to note that Mark Lloyd also called what happened in Venezuela democratic, a democratic revolution. Now, sadly, these facts are tricky, as facts are often referred to as stubborn. And so they are, as Mr. Lloyd is about to find out. That is probably why it took him so long to be able to get together his ideas and explain himself.